There we go. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to Inland Empire WordPress Meetup.
Oh, I thought this was OC. I'm in the wrong one.
Yeah, way off base.
Use that in that 91 traffic.
I am your WordPress announcer.
Guru.
Basically, to get in touch with us at the Inland Empire WordPress, there are 3 really great ways to do that. First one is through our Facebook group. When we are not here, we are there, and it is, if you need help, if you have questions, if you want to know what's going on with the group, that's the place to stay connected. Yep. The next one is the Meetup page on meetup.com. You can find information about what we're doing every month on the Meetup page. You can also RSVP. Various likes it when you RSVP, so please. For his sanity.
Whether you mean it or not.
Yeah, whether you mean it or not, like it makes him feel good, definitely.
Everybody hit maybe next time.
That'd be awesome.
You may have.
You should have a button that says it depends.
It depends.
The third great way to know more about what we're up to is through the Inland Empire WordPress, InlandEmpireWP.com. It is safe to go to, so if you get a SSL thing, don't worry about it. Various is going to fix that. It's a community, it's a BuddyPress community-based website, so you can log in, sign up, create a profile, let us know what you're up to. You can chat with people. We post some resources up there. If you have something interesting that you're writing about, or if you want to slam someone's idea, like Greg just did to me, post it on the blog if you have valid reasons to back it up.
And I do.
You totally do. So I will be reading things that happen in the WordPress community. The first one is WordCamp. If you've been to a WordCamp, it is awesome. If you have not, you should go. They're $40, so that's super affordable for the type of instruction that you get. It's generally 2 days, a Saturday and a Sunday, and they have them all over the place. So you can go to wordcamp.org to find out where the nearest one happening around you is. I think we've pretty much wrapped up all of the California ones in our area.
All 4 of them.
You can travel the world.
Yeah, you can go anywhere. Like they have them in the Netherlands, they have them all over the place. WordCamp US is coming up. That's in Philadelphia this year. That is like the mothership of all.
Who's going? Yeah, I'm not going.
I'm going to have to start working for ServerPress, apparently.
Who went last year?
All my money was
So, WordCamp USA is basically, it's sponsored by Automatic. It's put on by Automatic. It's the biggest WordCamp in the U.S., and they're going to travel it around to different cities. It used to be the one that happened in San Francisco. Now they're trying to move it around throughout the country. So that's coming up in December, right?
4th and 5th.
4th and 5th. So, yeah. If you do not make it to a WordCamp, you can go to WordPress TV. WordPress TV is an online video resource where pretty much every talk that is given at a WordCamp is available. So you can find talks from really brilliant people like Adam and Greg and Various is probably up there.
Justin, should you do one?
I'm up there too.
I was just thinking.
I'm not very happy with it, but it's up there. And it's just a really great resource. My favorite one that I've watched recently is Matt Mullenweg's Q&A at WordCamp Europe. Matt Mullenweg is the CEO of Automatic, which is a company that backs WordPress, and he is the benevolent dictator of the open source program.
And he provides whips. Let me mention that to him. Just call me a dictator.
So it's just very interesting on some of the things that are happening around the WordPress community. The last resource we have that is local to here is we have a YouTube channel for Inland Empire WordPress. Mostly it's Various, and so you can go and he records the meetups, so those get posted there, and then Various also does some Saturday or different.
I haven't been doing the Saturday schools lately.
You should. The recordings are up there, right?
Yeah, for the previous one.
I get
So we get emails about Saturday.
Oh, do you guys get the email still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
love
should
them.
probably just like stop that.
You can unsubscribe from the email, you know.
I don't want to. WordPress. Just stop doing the Saturday school until it's up and running. That's just me, though.
I would love some help on that.
You just have to ask.
All
I
right.
love some help with a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to get that
I need a
either.
bunch of help with a bunch of stuff. So yeah, so that's our announcements. Pretty much what's going on right now. We'll do introductions. My name is Jess. I am a WordPress developer, hacker.
Guru.
I do fun things with WordPress.
And books.
And books. I do fun things with books as well. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Lizzie Navarrete. I'm actually part of a company called Kids That Code, and we are actually tenants here.
Cool.
We're so excited.
Sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm Alfonso Renaya, part of Kids That Code as well.
What's the name of the company?
Kids That Code.
Kids That Code.
Right.
Awesome. Cool.
I'm Teresa Jennings, Mind Squeeze Creative. I'm a WordPress designer, graphic designer, and a developer in training.
I'm Joshua Knapp. I own Nast Coast and Cybercode Consulting.
I'm Lisa Garner, and I own Magnified Web, and yeah. No, and I am a hacker and learning all the time.
I'm Chris Lemma. I blog every day.
He's not Chris Lemma.
No, guys, like, my mind.
I'm Adam Silver.
Where are you going with that?
Yeah, me too. I'm Adam Silver. I am a WordPress educator and trainer, and I do some development work. Have a podcast over at kitchensinkwp.com.
Yeah,
I
look forward to it. It's awesome.
Thank you. That was 141 Mondays in a row. That's the next Monday. Never miss a Monday.
Every week.
Really good.
Thanks. Every week, every Monday.
And I'm Greg Jensen, and I've been using WordPress for about 6 months. I inherited a website from a good friend of mine who has a business, so I'm working on that and doing a little SEO and trying to learn more and more WordPress.
Very cool.
My name's Jason Chapin. I'm recently relocated from the Bay Area. I've been developing WordPress sites for probably 6 years now. Custom themes, SEO, kitchen sink.
Kitchen sink. Uh-oh. You guys should connect. Y'all should connect.
Hi, my name's Kathy, and I'm a WordPress hobbyist, but I taught myself and created my own dream website, and so I want to learn more about WordPress.
Well, my name is Mac Biggs. I have a company called New Media Enterprises, and I used to do video editing, but I decided to try to learn WordPress, and we're still learning, albeit I manage 150 some sites for clients. And learn something new every day, and when I don't know what I'm doing, I call Barry's.
That's cute.
I'm Greg Franklin. I work with ServerPress, and we make desktop servers. It's an application that lets you work locally with WordPress and treat it like a sandbox, so you can do anything you want.
Super awesome.
So you can break stuff.
Break stuff.
I know, it doesn't matter.
So you can move fast and break stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Various mention it as well.
Sometimes I've
Support.
broken ServerPress.
All right.
All right.
We good? Cool. I got to.
Lowercase I, like igloo, F like.
Much appreciated. I'm just going to take over now.
Yes. Grab the adapter.
Okay.
It's behind you on the table.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
there he is.
How's it going?
Good.
Better than bad.
Let's plug this in.
Came over a track and do something for you to do.
All right. Let's set up here. All right, we are here. Here we go.
We're in San Francisco.
All right.
I used to sail a boat under that bridge.
All right, cool. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Let's set up in Nevernote. Just we're gonna cover a few topics. First of all, my name is Various Smith, and I am the organizer here along with Greg and Jess and whoever chooses to help organize. And my name is Various Smith, and I am a freelancer. Been working freelance since probably 2010 when I got laid off of my job and didn't want to go back to work as an employee. So that's how I started. I picked up the phone and started to cold call. And I walked 30 miles in the snow.
In Texas.
I'll do it both ways.
Holding a hot rock in your hands.
You had my life.
So tonight, let's get our topics. We're going to cover really quick. WordPress Meetup.
Lisa, what do we need to cover?
Topics.
What do we need to cover?
All right, so we got
database health and optimization.
First, we're gonna go database optimization. We're gonna talk about that. And then what else? Mac had a question about workflow. All right, so it's just mentioned to you. We do have a group. Please go to this group and request to be a part of it, because usually towards like the end of the month or the day of Meetup, I panic and I'll throw out a question and say, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? and if you sign up and become a part of this group, just do a Facebook search. Stop, Adam.
Yes.
Do a Facebook search for Inland Empire WordPress. And join this group.
Who invited this guy?
I didn't know you could do that.
And this is the group that, where we always meet, but like we had 2 questions come through today, and usually we'll do kind of an open floor question and answer time. And if you have anything cool you want to show as well, then you can do that as well. But first, if we don't have just like a speaker, we'll go over these topics. So today we the 2 questions. First one was database optimization for WordPress, and then the next one was workflow. Does anybody else have any other questions, or just burning topics you want to talk about, burning questions you want to cover, anything you've been working with that we can add to the list?
Moving an old blog to a new blog.
Moving an old blog to a new blog. Okay.
WordPress to WordPress, or
Yeah.
platform to WordPress?
WordPress to WordPress.
Okay.
Is there a time limit on it? Can you do it in 5 minutes?
WP
You
to
can?
WP.
All the time.
Oh.
Man, I just have a problem spelling WordPress. Yeah, just do WP. All right. Any other burning questions you guys want to? Because these are some good topics right here. Got a few good ones. Anything else? No? Nobody else? All right. So let's start with database optimization for WP. Well, I guess from the beginning, we want to talk about why do you need to optimize the database. And if you guys want to throw in anything, why you know that databases need to be optimized. If you have some expertise in it, it's open floor right now. So it's I'm not the only person to talk right now. So, but I will throw out is that, database is index thing. It's kind of like a library, so you have something called a primary key within a database that actually indexes information in a certain way. And you remember the dist fragment on Windows? So databases get fragmented over time. This is one of the reasons you want to optimize your database, because there are certain scripts that are written, sometimes they're written in a bad way, and they will, throw information into a database that is not even, indexed, or it has no primary key. And sometimes these scripts will cause your database to perform or underperform. So this is one of the reasons you want to run an optimization on your database. In WordPress,
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So let's step back. When you say optimize your database, what does that mean?
that means that you're going through and you're assigning primary keys to queries that are you know, tables that are been inserted into the database without a primary key. You're correcting some things that have been inserted into the database with a bad query.
So you're not talking about like deleting stuff that are not things that you don't need anymore?
Not yet, but that's coming because that's part of it.
Okay.
So first, the first part of optimization is having everything properly indexed.
Okay.
You know, and then the second part of optimization is going to be cleaning up stuff. And that's where we see a lot of stuff in WordPress that needs to be cleaned up. You have like you have the options table. What's that?
I said old plugins, old themes.
Correct.
Orphan stuff left
Or
over from old.
What's that?
Stuff left over from old plugins.
Correct. So,
not taking advantage of the delete call and your plugin cleaning up after itself.
I'll pull up, because this is a good plugin to do that. So, like WP Optimize, I think this is the name of the plugin. It's a pretty good plugin. Sometimes it conflicts with some things, but it does some really cool stuff that you normally would do with like scripts, you know, and that you would normally have to write out yourself. But the other, like, so the first step of optimization is that, you know, some of these database plugins have optimized database. It just says the word optimized database. Like, what does that do?
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I was wondering.
that's going through and that's restoring the primary keys, and that's like using a defrag. It's kind of like using a defrag on your database. That's what that's doing behind the scenes. And so, I mean, you can use, I think it's DB, what is it, WP DB Optimizer or something like that, that it does that as well. But this plugin does it as well. And then there's also, if you go to WordPress, let's see, there's a script you can run that's in the actual basic WordPress install.
Oh yeah, fix your database. Repair database.
Talking about inside the WP config file? The command?
Yeah, you can do a define in WP config. Let's pull that up really quick so that you guys can see that.
Hey, Various, could I ask you two newbie questions?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, first of all, are the tables, the database in WordPress, is that a relational database?
Yes.
So now, are primary keys only for relational databases, or are they for any database? Because I thought it was just for relational databases.
They're all for relational databases, yeah.
Okay,
Only
so since it's relational, then there's going to be a primary key. Okay.
Correct.
Far out now. Thank
Okay. I was going to type it down, but no, that's pretty straightforward. Man, so if you go inside of the actual WordPress install, any WordPress install, and you go into the WP config file, this is what Greg was talking about. I actually never used this editor, but Espresso is kind of an old school editor. But inside of your actual,
you're going to change those security keys before you push that site live, right?
No, this is not even live. This is all local.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure if that site ever goes live, you change those keys.
I will, because this is on video.
Exactly.
You're right. But,
so
that would be somebody with way too much time on their hands. Me.
There we go. There we go.
Well, there's always one.
All right. So actually, if you go to, let's see.
Did you upgrade to Sierra yet?
No, I have not. I haven't. I've kind of been waiting.
You don't need Alfred if you have Sierra.
What's that?
Because Siri does it for you. But then you can talk to your mind.
Oh.
He talks to his computer anyway.
Yeah, I do. I do talk to my computer.
I swear.
Sometimes we yell at it.
I'm going to the codex really quick because I want to look up this define. Anybody got it off the top of their head?
I have hair, top of my head.
Ah, all right, cool.
So you went to Codex to find what?
So I'm going to the Codex because
search repair.
oh, could somebody go let this guy in? Or
Oh,
whoever
search
that is.
repair?
I would search for repair up there in the search WordPress box. Not there.
Right here. So right here, because I'm on the page where this goes inside of the WP config. So I went to the Codex, and in the Codex, there's this page about editing wp-config.php. Has 1,000,001 things that you can add to your config PHP. It's really very useful. And if I did a repair search for the word repair on this page, here it is, automatic database optimizing. You can add this. This was added in version 2.9, and you can add this to this file that I pulled up, wp-config.php. All you gotta do is copy it, you know, and then paste it, but you want to paste it like, you can paste it like right below WP debug. Right here it says that's all, stop editing. Don't put anything below that, because of course you don't want to like make the world blow up. You put it in there, you save it. Now the database is going to automatically optimize itself whenever, I don't know how often it does it. Let's see. It says this script can be found in your site, WP admin maintenance repair. There it is right there. Okay, so here's the thing. Check this out. And if you wanted to, if you have a WordPress website, you can actually access this. So let's just say I wanted to go to one of my local sites, which is on desktop server, and I just wanted to open up one of these. So let's just open up a regular website, and I'm going to visit the website. It's on my development environment.
Desktop server premium.
Through desktop server. So I go in here and I add this little WP admin maint repair.php.
Did you build that?
Did I build that?
Academy site?
No, I'm maintaining it. They're my client. They're like a maintenance client. And so if you go in there and you actually put this in your bar up here, this will actually pull up this page. All you have to do is turn on this, allow repair true in your WP config file, and every time you want to optimize your database, visit this URL here at the top. And that'll do the basic optimizing and re-indexing and all that's necessary for making it perform faster. So think about it. If you go into a library and you're looking for a certain book and there is no index, it's going to take the librarian forever to find those books. This is why you need your database optimized, because when the query goes to look in the database and some things are not indexed properly, response time of the database increases. And you want the response from the server to the client to be fast. This is one thing that increases that response time.
And that's not going to ever blow anything up?
Oh, yeah.
Not really. This is why you back up. This is one of the reasons why you back up your database first. So anytime you do anything to your database,
but if it's doing it automatically in the background, you don't know when it's doing it.
Well, it only runs when you go to that page.
It only runs if you go to this page.
Got it.
Yeah. So if you go to this page and you have this already turned on in your WP config file, then that's going to actually fix your database. It'll
so
do the
press it,
defrag.
breathing deeply, going, please don't break.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a backup.
Make sure you have a backup. As long as you have a backup, you're fine. And
you're golden, right?
It takes 2 seconds
just
to back up.
Just a database. That's all you
Yeah, you just need the database backup.
So the next thing I wanted to show you guys was.
Can you wait a second?
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
So scenario, so you do it and it breaks. So then what? I mean, so you put your backup site. Now you can never do that again.
So I use a plugin called WP-DB Manager from Chin. What's his name? Lester Chan?
Lester Chan.
And so what I do is I have it set up where every day it does a backup.
Charger.
And it emails it to a Gmail account I've set up,
Right. You know, you've named it.
Right. And so every day I get a backup of my database.
But the problem is if
Yeah,
it
but-
breaks,
Let him check.
Then,
she can't run that again. So now her database is just going to get into a.
no, you can. With this plugin,
Mm-hmm.
you go in there and you can drop all the tables and install that backup.
Couldn't you just
smoke.
change that to false and you're
Well,
No,
then,
they-
but the problem is now you're not getting the repair. You're not getting the indexing and all that stuff that's going on.
Right.
So the
My
question.
first question is that if the database is bad, or you run this and something crashes, there's obviously a problem somewhere. So
Well-
how do you fix that before you run this again to optimize it?
Yeah, if you got a bad database.
No, that will put back the old one, but then there's some flaw in that.
Yeah, there's still some.
There's
There's
some
an
flaw
error.
in your backpack.
So
in
then
your
what's
backpack.
your
your
next
backup.
step?
Yeah.
So if it breaks, then what? Call various?
Well, I mean, you can rebuild the database, and that might take a little bit longer. If your database is bad, you may have to rebuild it.
So if
and-
that happens, then there's definitely something you have to look into that's a deeper problem.
And
Yeah.
I can actually go into that aspect of it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it'd
talk
probably
about
be-
that, Josh.
So, in the event that something like this, like it failed because there was a crash table, let's say, in this case, the server has tools to go off and actually rebuild and fix your tables. And, well, with your hosting, 'cause since I do it, we actually do IN and ODB, and we make it 100% ACID compliant, so the data that goes in is verified before it's written to disk. If it's not verified, it doesn't get written to disk. So we're making sure that data is secure, or is safe from when you load it in to when it gets written to disk. That there is no.
So I got a question.
Okay.
I've posted this question before. So any WordPress site that was created before 4.3
Mm-hmm.
uses ISAM.
That's WordPress doesn't control that. That's going to be controlled by the server side. So that has nothing to do with WordPress as far as its control. That's going to be dependent on how the server's configured. So it would, you can change your table, how you're setting up your tables, but as far as what your server can support and what the default is, I believe WordPress before that point was using whatever the server default was, not specifically specifying MySQL.
Mac, I'm sure that answers quite a bit of questions for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because WordPress says prior to 4.3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was using probably the system default, which 99% of your hosting providers out there are using MySQL because it's
And
so
they're
much
old,
easier.
Old
Right.
hosts.
But they're so much easier to recover, and they don't require as much resources to maintain. But there are so many flaws in MySQL versus IN and ODB. If you have a very active site, MySQL.
Speak the truth.
Yeah. So locking. Let's say you're making a change on your site, and you've got tons of people visiting your site right now. With MySQL and the way it did locking, they would have to wait until whatever change you made.
Okay, tell us about locking. What does that do? What
So
happens?
it prevents any changes or reads happening. It stops anything accessing that table in MySQL. So that
Until
means,
it's finished doing what it's
right.
doing.
So that means if you're making a change and you've got 100 people hitting your site or 1,000 people hitting your site,
They can wait.
They can't see anything. All your posts, all your pages, everything lags out until it
White
finishes.
space, I guess, or
Well,
screen?
it could end up
Okay.
in that point. But what ends up usually happening is it just is a really long load time.
Okay.
And the problem is if your database is slow
Server
or you have a ton of
response.
people, your server response is getting flushed down the
So
toilet.
hypothetically,
Mm-hmm.
I have a site that's somewhere in the databases ism.
Mm-hmm.
If I move it over to you, you're going to convert it?
I can do that. You have to open a ticket, request that. I don't make changes to customers' content or data without their express request and permission. But the advantage, so on the flip side, INNODB does per row locking. So if they went to go to the exact page that you were going to work on right at that moment, they would get the same effect. But anybody who is visiting any other posts or any other page
So that's why you want to use ServerPress to do your posts and your pages.
But that still makes a change to the database when you publish it up. Yeah.
Well, so somehow you got to go up.
Yeah. Well, and that's.
You always have to upgrade.
Yeah, there's always got to be a way to put that data on there. But that's one of the big things between MySM and INNODB is that locking mechanism. INNODB, I don't want to get into the super nitty-gritty bit of it, but essentially it locks only the part that you're working on versus the entire table.
But if you got 150 sites and they're hardly getting any traffic at all,
then you're not
cares?
Right. You're not going to see that much of a difference. But when you start talking about a lot of traffic, or you have a really big change that you're making, then that becomes an issue.
Okay.
And that's really, I mean,
you should never lose sleep over it,
though. I know the nature of the sites that you're dealing with and things like that. You don't really get a lot of traffic or make enough changes that would be.
If you're Huffington Post, though, that's a
right. If Huffington Post, even your history mystery.
Oh, all those Democratic.
Wait.
Sorry,
we're not going there today.
They're all real busy right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen where just changes have been made on it, and that's another thing is if you're logging your client's hits, like if you've got anything that's storing to the database your client's hits, if you're using MySM, that has to wait. It has to go in process. INNODB will do it in queue and lock the row that needs to change.
Okay.
So, important things to keep in mind since we're talking about database optimization. What database you're using. I actually have what we use for our database config versus what most hosting providers. And
yours is MariaDB, right?
Well, yeah, we're using 10.1, but the config itself, we optimize, we tweak for using more of our memory for the database. So instead of going off and like whatever comes this way, we actually say, okay, we're assigning 6 gigs of memory for the database and saying this is what we have to work with. This much is being used for cache. This much is being used for sessions, things like that. And you can tweak that and fine tune that. Most providers don't do any tweaking whatsoever for that, and so it just becomes you get what you get.
By the way.
Yes.
When Liquid Web decided to send its shared hosting over to Lex hosting, which was a nightmare, I moved all 4 clients over to an Honest Host, and I haven't talked to Josh in about a month, and I told him I really appreciate it.
I know.
I haven't needed to.
It's been nice.
It's been
awesome. I moved everything over, and it's been.
I still have my VPS with Liquid Web, but you know the shared hosting, boom. So.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's just me.
That's good news.
That is.
Any other questions about database optimization at this point? Because we're going to talk about a few more things in database optimization. Lisa, I know this was like a burning question for you. I mean, has it kind of addressed some of the issues that you were thinking about?
Just, the part that, so the next step would be, it would be on the server end if there was a break. I'd have to talk to my server guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me share a few more things about, like, here's a good plugin. Like I'll put it in the notes because this is a good plugin and I like it. This plugin is so great. So
Beaver Builder said something
about Beaver Builder has some issues sometimes with this,
I don't know if they fixed it or not.
Well, it's like a configuration issue, I think. So if you configure it a certain way, it'll do certain things, but I'll just mention some of these things. This is WP optimized. You can enable or disable trackbacks. So some of the things that'll bog down your database from the WordPress perspective will be comments, post and page revisions, trackbacks, some other person references your website on their website, and your website gets pinged, and then it shows up as a comment and says, "Hey, somebody mentioned you." And it could be a spam website too.
I was going to say, that's actually a common way to get spam on people's sites.
Yeah. So you can enable or disable trackbacks for all published posts. Enable disable comments for published posts. Removal of stale post revision. That's really helpful because those bog down your database, and they bog down the response time of your database as well. Removal of stale and unapproved spam comments. Removal of trash comments, removal of akismet metadata, other stale metadata from comments, mobile device friendly. Now you can optimize your site on the go. Removal of all trackbacks and pingbacks. Cleaning up auto draft posts. Removal of transient options. So transients is a big one too. Just like be careful with deleting transients sometimes, because it's like removing like all of your website cache sometimes, and it has to reboot itself, kind of restore all of that transient cache data. So your page will load slower after you remove transient data. Post trash, cleanup of all integrated options, the ability to keep selected weeks of data, option to add or remove links on the add or remove link on the WP admin bar. So if you don't want your admin bar cluttered, you don't have to put this plugin up there. Enable disable weekly schedules. So this is really helpful because you can set it and forget it. You can put this on your website or your client's website, say, hey, every 2 weeks I'm optimizing your database. And you just set it, 2 weeks, every 2 weeks goes by, and it does it automatically. It's so good.
Yeah, I learned that, which one is it, the revisions?
Yeah.
If you get over like 300 revisions,
yeah,
you can go white screen.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and so that means, you know, all your text is white.
Yeah.
So you can look at a post or a page, and you can highlight it, and you'll see your text in there.
Yeah.
And so then if you run a program like this and say, get rid of all my revision stuff, it all comes back to normal.
Oh.
I had to figure that out.
Probably out of memory then.
Yeah. I mean, it messes with your memory, the script memory, because those scripts have to process whatever data is there, you know. Right. And so, but this plugin right here is worth a good look at it. I mean, it's got 5-star rating, or 4.8 out of 5 stars. Over 500,000 active installs. So, I mean, like, obviously, it's pretty solid. And 352 5-star reviews. I love this plugin.
But it says 500,000 plus installs, but not compatible up to 4.6.
Right. Not compatible up to 4.6.
Last updated 4 months ago.
4 months ago.
Yeah.
So that one stars me.
So, so yeah, you know. So I mean, that's something you want to look at too, and you want to consider, you know, because sometimes making a website compatible up to 4.6 or up to the most recent version is simply going in and changing a text file and saying.
Just means he hasn't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not hosting it over at GitHub. So.
Yeah.
Does that mean it truly isn't compatible with 4.6?
No.
It's not tested. And resubmitted and updated the doc.
But there are some of us who
are
look
concerned.
at that and go, what's wrong?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, I know.
Am I rolling the dice?
Yeah. And, you know, and I think that's where you have to use your judgment and make sure you have a backup. Because if you always have a backup, you have nothing to be worried about.
So you schedule your backup, and
yes.
you schedule this right after.
There you go. No. Well, I would say I'd schedule this before I schedule my backup, but have a backup before I schedule this.
No, what she said.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Okay.
Chicken and the egg, people.
There you go.
That's why I'm vegetarian.
All right. All right. So cool. Anything else on this? I mean, like, I really have like put out there all that I could say about it. But if anybody else wants to talk about it, then you know, free to say anything about it.
So, does anyone have any thoughts on creating specific tables in WordPress versus just throwing everything into the post meta?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's an option that you can use, and you probably heard of it before. Pods. Have you heard of Pods plugin?
Pods use custom post types now, so they do it.
Oh, they use custom post types.
They don't write stuff in tables.
So they changed, because Pods used to be the option for you to create your own custom tables is in the WordPress.
No, but I figured out how to do it. I'm just wondering what what is the argument for or against it? For putting in a separate table or for just putting it on the post meta?
Anybody want to mention that?
Indexing would be the strongest benefit. You're going to be able to index it, and it'll be faster. So that would be its benefit, but you wouldn't be able to use any of the WordPressy stuff to manage it and all that kind of thing.
So indexing it, you mean it would be easier to index a new table than just throwing it in the post meta?
Correct.
Okay. But you can use the WP query commands to get all of it back. Are you
Yes.
saying you can't just run any of the other
A lot of the other ones won't.
the scripts? Okay. All right.
You know anything about that, Jason?
Well, I'm just thinking about like, I've been doing a lot of WooCommerce.
Okay.
Since they, but you know,
They have a couple
create,
tables,
you
yeah.
know, a bunch of it, but they also have their own, API that
Right.
so you might not use the WP query, you use the WordPress, or
The REST API.
Yeah, the REST API.
That's
So that's what. But I'm just now thinking that I've got a bunch of random tables on a lot of sites that I probably need to go through and clean up.
Oh yeah.
Were you going to talk about that?
Clean up random tables.
Yeah, like a lot of plugins will add their own tables, and like if you've gone from one e-commerce, site to
cleaning
another
up
one.
orphan tables.
Yeah.
How do you
so
know?
is there
Where do you see
plugins
it?
that address
You
that?
go
I
into
mean,
Adam,
how
you
does
mentioned some plugins that do this. What was the ones that you mentioned? Cleaning up orphan tables in the database.
He is talking.
Off the top of my head, I do not recall. I mean,
Was it garbage collector?
Sweep is one.
I don't think it was me that mentioned
Simply
it.
just go into PHP MyAdmin and
Yeah,
go, well, I'm
it's
not
really
using that
easy,
anymore,
yeah.
and click.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I.
There's
how
one
does
called-
a normal
Here's-
a mortal
Those are
man
normal
know
ones right
to
there.
do this?
So a lot of times they'll be
Do you have
prefixed
anything
with
that's
like you can
Spanish?
kind of tell by the plugin. Like
plugin you deleted.
yeah, like WooCommerce, all their prefixes are WC. So like if you don't use WooCommerce anymore, you can just go and blow those out.
So
you know.
is it when you blow the table out? Do you
Completely drop it.
drop?
Yeah.
You use
Yeah.
the drop table.
You drop table.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Here's plugins garbage collector. I mean, I've used plugins similar to this before. They work. They do work in helping you clean up like excess plugins that didn't allow you to remove them when you uninstall the plugin. Because there are some plugins that allow you to actually remove those tables. So this one is one of them. I
Looks
think
like it
there's a few
identifies
others.
it, right? And then you go and actually say dump. Or,
No, it probably dumps it for you.
Yeah. It'll go through, it'll actually scan your database, and it'll try to identify the ones that are just left there, from previous plugins you had.
This would be one I would say make sure you have a
Backup.
backup because you could really mess things up
Yeah.
really bad.
Yes. And so, I mean,
Say that again. That's
I-
Make sure before you drop tables that you're questioning if they're still in use. Make sure you have a good backup before.
Or actually, even a better case is drop the tables on a development server first.
That would be
that's
perfect.
Practice on desktop server. Practice on a subdomain
Yep.
on
There
a
you
staging
go.
server. Because that way you're not actually affecting the live site.
Yeah.
that makes,
Then refresh. If nothing's broken, okay.
and that kind of flows into
I'd still make
workflow.
it back up.
That kind of flows into workflow. I mean, if we're done with this, we can talk a little bit about workflow because we all have different workflows. I just wanted to show you, like, the workflow that I use for developing websites. It's not it's not the end all be all. It's not even probably the best, but it's just one that I use currently because I use desktop server and
Ooh, oh, it was getting great. Awesome.
okay.
So this is just a little illustration. I actually made this for a client just because they were getting confused about what was what and what was where, So I use this. This is kind of my workflow. I have 3 copies of the websites that I create. So one of them is the development website. The next one is the staging. The next one is production. And the actual, way it works is that I start on the development. I push it up to the staging with desktop server, one-click publishing.
So is now that's in a subdomain?
This is a subdomain normally. So actually, that I probably should actually correct this because usually my staging website is at staging dot website name dot com. You know, so that's usually the name, whatever name of the website. That's where I have the staging environment. So on development server, all new development happens there. Here first. It's located on my desktop, and you know I can always go access it via localhost. And if I go localhost right here, it shows all of my staging websites that I've been working on currently. And then from there, I'll upload to the staging, add milestones that I've reached, you know, that client and I have decided upon with our planning, you know, whatever milestones have been reached, I'll upload the website there. And then this is used for development and testing as well. So
that development is local.
Development is all local.
All
this
local.
is all local, yeah. And staging is, you know, usually has subdomain name staging, and it's a maintenance mode website. So literally, I'll use a maintenance mode plugin like CProd or something like that, and put it behind maintenance mode barrier. It's not indexed by search engines. It's viewable only by those who have access to it. So if you don't have a username or password, you can't log into it. It's a members only site. And it's located on a remote server. This is on the remote server, so it can be worked on.
Your client can see it.
My client can see it from wherever they're at in the world. Corrections and updates are discussed with the client here. The content is written and pushed to production here, to the production website, and it's not indexed by search engines. So Desktop Server honestly has made this possible in an easier way. I've always done this. Like I've always done this type of a workflow. It was a little messier, but this was always my workflow. I always have a subdomain, whether sometimes it was dev dot whatever website name, but like WordPress and Desktop Server makes it so easy. So I mean, like if I could just show you a website that recently I've been working with these guys. I just picked it up and I did a lot of corrections on the website. We're moving towards building a better, actually, interface for this website. But like I just started working with these guys last month, and it's kind of set up the same way. So I'll show you. If I go to one of the staging sites, which one is it? And the cool thing about Desktop Server is that you can destroy your websites easily and still have them, and you can rebuild them. So this is my client, Downtown Live Houston, and this is their staging website, or this is their local development website. And this one's, you know, they can't see anything I do on here. And, you know, they're trying to sell ads and stuff on this website to people, and, you know, so I do everything locally here. Local, using a local development plugin that Greg developed for Desktop Server. And I also just recently took that code from Greg, modified it, and it's in a plugin. He sent it over to me and changed it up to where it says staging. So if I go onto staging, downtownhoustonlive.com, this is the staging website right here. I'm going to stop this from loading because I don't want to use all of Justice data.
It's not going to load your...
So that's the staging. It's behind a maintenance mode, you know, website. But
so is that on the server that the live site is on?
This is on the server right here that the live site is on.
It's just a subdomain.
It's just a subdomain. Staging.downtownhoustonlive.com. Now log in. If I log in here, and it will allow me to log in. They're actually on a host that's pretty slow, so we're working on moving them off of there. So there you go, staging website here at the top.
Cool,
And
I like
so,
that.
you know, it's clearly delineated from the.
So you're using their server.
Yep, this is their server.
Well, in that way you make sure that none of the changes that you've made in WordPress itself don't work well with whatever their hostings.
Correct.
Because I've heard some horror stories about people having weird versions of PHP and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's.
I've had that happen.
And the final website, you just go to their actual, page. This is the final website, and this is final area of production. Never touch, we never touched this, and we never develop on this. Everything is pushed directly to this, yes.
I'm sorry, so I'm trying to catch up. So there's a staging plugin? Is that the
No, it's a subdomain.
It's a subdomain.
It is a subdomain.
So the staging plugin is just that it marks it staging
up in the top in your admin bar.
So that you know that you're in your
You can also do HT passwords or HT access, and
Okay.
So some of the plugins that I use for a staging website is actually going to be the 1x prod. If I go to plugins, let's go to install plugins. So there is a maintenance mode by cprod, our coming soon page. I use this one. And then also have, let's see.
I saw staging.
Oh, you see staging?
Staging.
Yeah, so I just renamed this. This is the same code that is used for the desktop server localhost. It's just a short little function that hooks into the init, and changes the color of the admin bar. It was already written by Greg, and I was like, sure, I'll just change it up and put it here. Boom. And so
change the color.
Yeah, you can change the color. You can change the lettering up here. But I'm probably going to roll this into another plugin down the line because it's such a useful thing. And that's one of the plugins I really want to develop is a staging plugin.
So if I have a live site, and I'm going to do work on it, right? Completely over, it has to be something major to do this, right?
Yes.
So I suck that live site down onto desktop server. All right, and then I would go into the cPanel for that live website. And so under, I forget where it is in the cPanel, but you can do add-on domains.
Yep.
Don't want to do that, just want to click subdomain.
Correct.
And type in the name of your subdomain.
Correct.
And then create a new directory. It'll create a new directory in your hosting.
Right.
And then just install the WordPress.
So I'm a dummy. I used to just go in and create a file folder and put it all in there.
Well, that's what when you create a subdomain, it'll say where do you want to put it, and then you just create, type a name.
Well, definition-wise, a subdomain is a pre-directory. It's, for example, clients.domain.com.
Right. Yeah,
versus clients.com
/
that's just a directory of the roots.
Right.
The problem with that is that you have WordPress and another station of WordPress here.
Right.
Versus WordPress and you're better off with the subdomain technically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially for staging. Especially for staging. So, let's say, the easiest way that I love to do this is that, I have a website like this one. The guy who actually started developing on this website was an HTML developer. So when I inherited this website, I logged into WordPress and I saw inside of the post all this code, and I'm like,
Yes, much like another one we're familiar with.
Yeah, and so I took a week or two and I just ripped all the code out and created a child theme with the code. And they're like, what's going on? We see nothing changing visually. I'm like, well, because I had to correct all your backend code. And finally got it to the point to where, it's a child theme and it's, it's using template hierarchy and it's using all the right code. And it's like, now they're like, man, we got to move on this. I'm like, guys, we have to take 3 steps back first and now we're going to move forward.
Yeah, they all just care what it looks like.
Yeah. And that's really, that's really what it boils down to is there visual changes. So, but here's the thing is that I'll go in, I'll suck down this website with Duplicator. And Duplicator just allows you to duplicate the entire site, take it as a package, download it very easily. And once you download the entire website in Duplicator, so you see Duplicator is right here, and I can go to packages. Recently, I had to download a copy of the live site because they wanted some changes really fast. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to edit the live site. There was some stuff on the live site that wasn't on the staging site, and they became out of sync, And so I downloaded a new package of this on the 30th. And I took that and I went into desktop server, open up desktop server, I go in, I destroy the entire website that I have on my desktop. I just get rid of it. And then I'll just do an import in desktop server and bring it in under the actual name Downtown Houston Live. And I got a brand new copy of the website on my desktop that now matches the most recent version. So that's kind of my workflow. And then whenever I'm ready to, start development, I'll do my development like, I've actually illustrated here on here. So I tell them, I have to train my client that we never do work on the production website. So if you need a change, then we're gonna have to handle that. And that's part of my fault. It's like handling workflow is really, it falls down to me as a designer, and handling change orders. When somebody wants to change, like for me, I'll put my clients on a contract 6 or 12 months, and all of our communication is pretty instantaneous because I set up a Slack channel, and that's kind of how I work with them. And so, question?
No.
No. Okay.
You use version control?
Currently, I am not using version control, and that's a bad thing. Yeah, I don't use any version control for this website. I've used it on other websites in the past, but for this website, there's no version control. And right here, you see Git.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
So here's the thing. There are a few ways to implement this. I haven't figured out the best way yet. To implement Git within this workflow. And so
I have a similar workflow.
Okay.
I just use LAMP server. I'm Linux.
Yes.
And I've used, like I said, GitHub. There's a new one,
GitLab.
GitLab.
Yeah.
That's one I use.
And you can. I mean, because you'll hit ceilings, and if it's a big site, GitLab it will take it. So, push it up to Git, and then I'll just, and what I do is I pull WP content outside the WordPress.
Yes.
And I adjust the index.php so it's pointing to and so I'll make a repo of WP content and then a repo of a separate child repo of their theme. So whether it's a child theme or whatever. So
yeah, the whole site can blow up as long as you have that.
Exactly. And I'll go to the stage and I'll just do a fresh WordPress install. There's another plugin that you might be interested in. It's called WP Sync DB. And
really?
It's not on it's on GitHub. There it is.
Okay.
And so you can push and pull the databases. So I'll get a client site, they want me to work on their site, I'll install WP Sync DB, I'll pull their database over, I do a fresh WordPress install on my local dev, pull their database over, it sucks it right on in, and then I will get their WP content folder and I'm good to go. I use that duplicator as well.
Now you can do only the database with desktop server.
Yeah, I'm new to this, so I just use the LAMP server.
So I'll just demonstrate. So let me just show you. If I wanted to import right here, I'm going to actually import a copy of that duplicated website. This is the Downtown Houston Live. I'm just going to make a version for today. So I'm just going to go import, and I'll go next. And I'll find the actual file, which is actually in, I think it's in my downloads folder. Let's go to downloads right here. And yeah, here's the one I did on the 30th. So it's 49.4 megabytes, it's a zip archive. And this contains the files, all of the files, and the database within that zip file. It's a whole duplicated version of the site. Open it, and then I can name it. I'm not going to name it the same as the one that I have there, but I'll just put Downtown Houston.
Are you a Johnson fan?
Downtown Houston Live.
That was the first thing I thought.
It's
now academic.
So I'll know I'll create this at the meetup.
You have a teenage girl. I know you.
It's installed. It's going to be installed under Documents, Websites, Down Houston Live -meetup.dev. I click next, and it goes through, and it creates the actual website.
So you don't have to like edit your host file.
It scrubs all of that.
So
And it edits the host file as well. It adds a new entry into the host file. It scrubs the database. It sets up everything, and that
Converts your database?
What's that?
Converts it?
Yeah, you can convert. There's a few plugins there's one that'll convert old databases to NODB. There's a couple of really cool plugins that use, and it's all WordPress related, which is really cool. Instead of using them, like I used to use them, this is so much easier. So
apparently it's not available for Linux.
It's coming.
It's coming.
So here it is here.
I'm on their testing list.
If I go back on version control for just a moment, another really good is Beanstalk.
Beanstalk.
Beanstalk is GitHub charges you for private repositories. Beanstalk's free, and they also have a push deployment, so you could push it to stage.
So yeah, Beanstalk is one, and the other one is
Git. It's Git just on Beanstalk.
Bitbucket's all private, though, right?
I think so, but I haven't looked at it in a while.
GitLab you can self-host though. Like,
I know.
and that's
All right, you guys.
So this is Bitbucket. Actually, I've used Bitbucket as well in the past, and so I haven't used it for the more recent.
So what goes into these things? Why would Mac want you to do this?
Okay, so it's version control, right? So number one, it backs up your work.
It takes a snapshot is what the good thing to describe it.
Exactly, and so that if you screw something up, you can go back several snapshots.
How does it do it? Just puts the files in there, or
it stores the diffs in a database essentially. So
can we look at one?
You want to look at some version control?
You want to look at
I just wanted to see what the data is in one of these things.
It's pretty much a mirror of. Well, this is it's a web GUI, right? So there's a lot of secret sauce in the back end,
right?
That
What do you want to see?
You have Git or source tree on your system?
I do have source tree, I think.
That'll show.
Or Tower.
So I don't have any repositories in source tree. Yeah, I don't actually use these.
Okay, never mind.
I don't use source tree or even Bitbucket. I use the command line when I do it, and so.
I'm primarily command line.
But so here's the website I just created right here for the meetup. So see the one that I just created?
Oh, yeah.
That's the entire website. If I wanted to log in, I can go over here to the local host, and I'll look for that name of that website really quick.
It's the same database?
It added everything in there, and here it is. I can go to visit the website. Remember, here's the site that's already behind the prod coming soon page. If I want to go to the dashboard, it'll take me to the dashboard. I have active a plugin called Airplane Mode, which I'm sorry, not Airplane Mode, but what is this? Hey, Greg, what's the name of this login plugin?
Bypass
login.
Bypass login. So there is something called bypass login. It gives me this drop down, and it will log me in to the website without having to put my username and password. This is one of the reasons why I use desktop server. And here's the entire website right here.
Right.
Everything that I wanted, and I can do whatever I want to, change it. And once I change it, I can actually go in right here, go to export or share website, and I can go like this to next, and I can find the website that I want to export. If I wanted to go and export this Meetup website, boom. Let's just say that was my domain name. I can export the entire website that I just changed with the database, all the files, everything, just like this. And I can say direct deploy. It's going to ask you for my username and password. That is the username and password that you have for this WordPress live site that you're directly deploying it to.
So is it rewriting the files that are there?
It gives you certain options. It will connect. Just go ahead.
No,
okay.
I just have a question then. So like you're direct deploying to your staging site, right?
Yeah.
So then how do you push from your stage to your live?
I direct deploy directly from staging, and whenever it's time to go live, I direct deploy directly from the desktop to live. So from direct to
suck
staging.
it down from staging and then.
I don't suck anything down because I don't change anything on staging usually. If I do change
So
something,
what if like your client makes a bunch of content updates and things like that?
You're only pushing
if the
up so
client
they can
makes
see
content
it, right?
updates, I have them set up with WP SiteSync.
That's what WPDB is good for.
So WP SiteSync is the other equation to the puzzle.
So what did you do 6 months ago when SiteSync didn't exist?
Oh, if they did it 6 months ago, I would actually export the entire website back to my development. But with SiteSync, like now they can push content, images, and all of that up to the website.
Right.
And so it's pretty.
So let me see if I get.
There's definitely some stuff here that it depends. You have to
Right.
use the word it
Right.
depends.
It
Because are they making changes to theme files? Are they making changes to database?
So my clients never make any changes to theme files. My clients never make any changes to database outside of like WordPress editor and WordPress. You know, so they're managing their content.
Add their own content.
They're managing their content. I'm only one touching the files. And literally, I usually turn off the editor. So they can't touch the files. I turn off the editor through WP config files.
Right.
So I go in and at the define, the line that allows you to turn off the editor. If you go back to where we went in the codex, you can actually disable the plugin and theme editor with this one line of code right here. I just put that into my WP conf file, disallow file edit. They can never change the code. And I do have a WP config file with a lot of settings in it. I can show it to you. Actually, that's in a blueprint that I have for WordPress websites.
So let me see if I get this. So you're doing all your development work on a desktop server.
I do it all on desktop server.
And when they want to see where you are, how's it coming? You've been working for me, you've been slacking on
agreed
my
milestone.
website.
It's usually agreed milestone.
You upload it to your staging.
Yep, at different milestones.
And so the only thing you're ever doing is uploading from development to staging. And then once they've signed off and they said, good to go, you take it from your development
to
production.
And there are certain changes. That's exactly how I do it. But there are certain things like things that are not active in staging are the sitemap is not being, or the robots.txt is blocking search engines in staging. Yeah. So the search engines are not indexing this. So that has to be turned on.
Studio Press, because you just go check all the boxes. In Genesis.
Yeah. Well, you can check boxes here too.
What, for no index, no?
Yeah.
What theme? What's theme?
Well, that's in the back end of WordPress down under settings reading. So if you go to settings reading, this is where you say, okay, I want.
Discourage.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, you're in the right place. Just go a little bit. There it is right there.
All right, so.
Let me tell you, I got some experience with that. It doesn't work half the time.
What do you mean?
It works in half.
You need to go in and no index specifically everything.
Well, you can no index from your Yoast SEO plugin.
Yeah, but it says that it's up to search engines to honor this request.
Yeah, but no matter what, it doesn't matter what plugin.
Yeah, I mean, that's never changed.
That's true with robots.txt too, by the way.
It's
if they want
so bad,
yeah.
It's jacked.
The nature of the internet is that these search engines actually don't have to honor it. They can be spammy search engines.
Yeah, so then you got to go
into
Webmaster and go get this out.
Yeah, you can block them or you can disavow links. Right. You know, disavowing links is another way you can do that. So, yeah, that's one of the things that changes from staging to the production is that you gotta change what's indexed by the search engines.
I try to use backup buddy.
Of course,
backup buddy for a while.
And so when I'm in the desktop server, I can't upload backup, buddy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can. I just did today.
It's probably me.
Twice on Mondays.
So when you back up, where does the backup file?
That's located in your Adobe Contents Uploads folder, Backup Buddy temp.
Yep, there's a whole bunch of them that breaks them out. It's easier. No,
I just go to Backup Buddy and it says right there, here's your last backup download.
Yep, download. Yep.
Put download.
Yeah, that's the file. And usually that's it.
But that's where it's coming from.
Right, right.
All right,
I
so
gotta look at this because I couldn't do it. It's usually always me, by the way.
Yep.
nah, you're
It's the device between the chair and the keyboard.
Mouse operator here.
Always.
so. Anybody want to add to this? I mean, like I'm just showing you what I do. I know that everybody has a different workflow, and I would love to see what else people are doing, you know, in their workflow. And this was all for the workflow question. So there's more. What's that?
He said mine's not really a workflow, it's a work tornado. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I'd like to really, at some point, get into this version control stuff. Not that I do anything big enough that I need it, but I'd like to really
Actually, no
understand
matter how small it is, you
matter
can
how
actually
small.
use it.
No, I use it for text notes. You know?
Yeah.
People use Photoshop. People use it for Photoshop stuff.
Yes.
There's actually a service out there for photography-wise.
See, I always thought GitHub and all that is where people put their code.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, they
so
do.
So if you're like a plugin developer, right? And you can, you know, and you can stick it up there, and people can either download it, or they can fork off of it, or you know, make their own version of it.
Fix it, make it better.
But for my client work, I always use that's why I use GitLab, because it's private and it's something that's self-hosted.
So what I do is I just FTP all the files from WordPress and store it on a hard drive.
Git is like 10 times faster than FTP. So
but it's just basically doing the same thing?
Yeah, it's
You're
basically
uploading your
but it's a
files.
lot faster.
Here's a few things that I think are interested, you know, or would be interested in checking out. Today I saw this WP time capsule. It's created by the same guy who created Infinite WP. And literally, it's pushing itself as a smart incremental backup. So it only backs up what you change.
Like a time capsule.
Like a time capsule, yeah.
Just like for Mac.
Just like for Mac, that's the idea. And so you can check this out, WP Time Capsule. It looks very interesting. They say set it and forget it, offsite backups, one-click restore. So they have like points where you can restore points like from different days or something like that. That's what it
where's
looks
all
like.
that being stored? On his servers?
Third party install. You can do Dropbox, S3,
okay,
or Google Drive.
okay.
I'm not going to play the video because I'm on Jess's data and I remain conscious of that. The other one I will check out. This is one that I've installed and I've played around with a little bit, and I'm looking at rolling it into a service that I'm building. This is called WordPress. It's really, literally like WordPress plus Git. So I have I guess you would call it VPS, and I have Git installed on my VPS, and so WordPress works on it, and you know it's literally like you can undo changes, create staging sites, merge databases, and it's like supposedly like Git. Or it uses Git, not supposedly, it does use Git for version controlling your WordPress websites with a graphical user interface. So
I have a question.
Yes.
No, finish it off.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, well, I was pretty much finished with that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So how does this work when you have multiple people working on the same site? Like if you have multiple people handling the files, like how do you merge that?
So like, are you directly uploading files to the server?
So like right now, so I don't have, like I said, I don't have a workflow.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I'm running into is that like I'm now assigning out certain projects to someone else
Yeah.
who then does the project and they may be working on one set of files, and I've already updated this other thing 3 different times, and now I've got to go through, figure out what they changed and what I didn't change.
I have a little bit of an answer to that.
Okay.
Because I work for a development firm, and we have 5 or 6 people working on one
Different parts of the same project.
Different parts. So then we had the project manager. So you would push up to say it was GitHub, and we had a private, we paid GitHub, and then the project manager would then have to merge it. So you could push it up, and then the project manager would make sure that it was, you've got your own branch, right? So like Git allows you to do certain branches, and so somebody's working on the wrap, somebody's working on the header, somebody's working on this, so they all have one on different branches. And then they push those branches up, and then our project manager would then be the person that goes and merges with the main code.
And was that usually a developer or a project manager?
Yeah, it was a developer.
But I think she's asking about this plugin right here, VersionPress,
well,
right?
Or like just how do you deal with that? Because I know that you have you have like interns and people that you work with too as well.
Yeah, and so like you said, branching is the way to do it, like to be able to compare those changes so that nothing overrides anything. And that's what's so awesome about Git, is because you can also do a compare, see what's changed. You can see, if a person is like, hopefully they're logging a message every time they are pushing.
You have to, right?
Yeah, they can do a blank one.
Well,
I mean, they could do.
So Git kind of timestamps all
You've got to commit. The flow is you work, add. So then you add what you've worked, and then you have to commit it, and then Git makes you do a message.
Yeah, you have to do a message.
And you really want one thing per one commit. Like for example, because if you have 3 things, it's too many. You want one thing to one commit. So you take a fork of it. I take a fork or a branch. I work on one thing, and I push it back in. Because that way it's trackable to who and what exactly. And very descriptive.
What and when,
Huh?
For what and when.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I said this plugin is really interesting. I haven't taken enough time to really delve into it, but the idea is that it is a Git using a WordPress interface.
So what level are we in right now, this discussion? Is this beginner?
Well, I can say this is more we're not going into the details of Git. So we're not going into the details of Git. We're trying
to. It's a bit of a learning curve.
It is a learning curve for Git. But this plugin is more of an intermediate thing. So this is bringing a graphical user interface to Git. That's what they were trying to do, bring a graphical user interface.
Git is something you subscribe to.
Okay, Git is actually not something you subscribe to. Git is a technology that can be used.
Where does it?
Side by side.
Where do I get it? And where do I put it?
Do you work on like a Mac, or you can download it? Yeah. I mean, you can.
So Git allows you.
There's several clients.
To have a
source tree, which you have.
Yeah, source tree.
I have GitHub Desktop.
My head is spinning.
So Git itself is kind of like WordPress, where
it's a platform.
It's a platform.
Okay, got it.
And then it's how you use it. It used to use Subversion.
People used to use
Subversion. Yeah.
So you can install it on a shared server.
Like for example, in this conversation, I just installed it on my NAS, and my network is NAS storage. Right. You still need to then create, security protocols, SSH, have a code. There's ways to do certain steps.
Because really, Git version control is a workflow in itself.
Right. Exactly.
It really is.
Version control is a workflow in itself.
You make a change, you commit, and then you push.
But let me say this.
And here's the thing.
These normally have no graphical user interface.
That's how they started.
Yeah, normally.
Which is
they don't.
You use, right?
Right. And it's faster. Once you know it, you're fine. Yes. But because, if we get to a point where we're all so used to the GUI, it's comfortable. So Greg and I worked on a project. Greg wrote most of it, if not all, for a plugin that I needed. We did it through Git. Where did we host that, though? Was it on GitHub?
I think so.
Yeah, it must have been. And the mistake we made, both of us, I think separately, we forgot to commit it back to the master. So I had a fork. So we had the original piece. I pulled a fork off. Greg pulled a branch, I guess, essentially. Yeah, it was a branch. I did some changes just on some basic text and some documentation, and didn't recommit it back the right way. I didn't merge it, correct. So then Greg did some additional code changes, and so I got his code changes next time I did a poll, didn't get my updates because I forgot to commit it back. So you have to make sure that you do it the right way, and then you know, it goes.
Did you quit after that? Like, I'm done.
No.
I need a beer.
No.
That's why a lot of us shouldn't own weapons.
Right.
Right. You know, even if they're locked in.
So there's a consistency. Once again, a checklist. You have to make sure that you, and once you get to know it well enough, you'll just become second nature.
Right.
You
but
won't
you're not in it all
use
the time.
anything else, really. You know. Like,
Well, this is a whole
I started
new
on
world.
Subversion, and like
It is.
I can't remember what Subversion was like because
Right. And Subversion is what they still use for. Isn't that they still use Subversion on WordPress.org?
Yeah.
For plugins. They still use Subversion. Right.
They haven't transferred it all,
Which is crazy.
They keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Never happens.
That hasn't happened. I'll talk to Constantine about it.
all right, so I mean, we really covered a lot of stuff in workflow. Ultimate workflow is learning to use Git. That really is a great workflow for any developer. Now, the workflow I was showing you, this actually can work for beginning to intermediate developers. This little piece of Git actually goes hand in hand with the workflow. It doesn't take over the workflow. It can go hand in hand with the workflow. So here's the thing. Regardless of what your workflow is, like, try to do something that's efficient for you. You know, I'm just showing you what I do, and I'm still working on this. Like, I'm still trying to make it better.
So you have the file sitting on your drive that you showed us, right?
Yeah. This one?
Yeah. Doesn't that scare the crap out of you?
What?
Where else do those same files live?
Well, they're on the
Which
staging
file?
server.
Oh, you talking about my the files for the website?
Yeah.
It's on my website. It's on the staging server. It's on a third-party server backed up as well.
Okay.
So, like, I have 3 copies of this website right now, but then I also have backup copies as well. So 3 copies that are active that I can see, you know.
Okay.
So you don't have to limit yourself to just these 3 copies. You know, I know you like backups in about 10 or 20 places, so. So you can do that still. You can integrate your workflow with your backup flow as well. So to increase this, you could add Amazon S3 as a backup source. You know, add Dropbox as another backup source. You know, and you have...
Yeah, because most likely your production site is being backed up. So
Exactly.
it can be backed up by the host, and it could also be backed up if you're using Backup Buddy.
Exactly.
So now there's 2 more.
So you got 2 more.
Yeah.
So
Don't always
this
rely
works.
on your host.
I know.
While
Your words, not mine.
I assume
I will be the first one to say, don't rely on your host for the backup.
My host can't back them up because they got too many sites on.
Well, they should be backing up the entire server. They should be backing up the entire server.
See, here's two things. One on the workflow.
Yeah.
I worked with a friend of mine back in Michigan this past summer. I had a project. I subbed it to him. It was great. They work completely in Git for project management as well. So they'll actually manage a project. Instead of using Asana, instead of using Trello, they just use Git completely.
ServerPress does the same thing.
Right. So that way, all the notes, any task that has to happen on a job, it gets its own repo. And all the tasks are there. That way, whoever wants to add something can.
And you can add milestones.
No,
we have Asana, but we use most of our project management.
Project management.
Oh, project management. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And you can also tie Git into a Slack thing or into an Asana.
Yeah.
So you can do zaps across or if that. Zapier, yeah.
Okay.
And as far as the backing up and don't trust your server, 100% agree. But
and I'm a host,
right?
So
yeah, and I've resold. But here's the thing: if you have a backup, you know what you need to do? You need to learn how to restore. Having the backup is half the battle.
I
test the backup.
Test the backup. Test it locally, or test it on. Go get a cheapy shared hosting account. No offense again.
Hey,
but go get something and see if you can migrate it.
That's what I do.
See what happens.
I test
if you don't know how to migrate your site or restore it, then you got nothing.
Well, you know what would be cool? Here's another idea. Another idea for somebody who may want to try to write a plugin that's just crazy. If you have an auto backup and test, so literally you have a backup buddy plugin that will automatically send your backup, but you don't want to have Schrodinger's backup because anybody know about Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah.
Okay, so Schrodinger's cat basically is kind of like I think it's physics, quantum physics. You don't know if the cat is in the box unless you actually look.
Well, the cat's alive and dead until you open the box.
Yeah, until you look at it. Yeah. So, like that's the same way with your backup. You don't know if it really works until you try to restore it.
Well, I took all my scary sites and put them down on the desktop server.
Yes, so that's a good way. Yeah. And what I'm saying is if somebody wrote a plugin, you could have somebody create a plugin. I probably can do it. But it'll automatically set up a site, and test that backup.
The only problem with that being, how would you test it and say, okay, yes, this is
a screenshot?
Well, and that's great for your first page, but what about like some of your images and things like that that might not make caught?
So Staging Pilot.
Staging Pilot
has a tool like that.
Oh, really?
It does that. It goes in and looks through the site by using some smart intelligence. It takes it looks at the images, makes sure things are there.
Interesting.
It's very interesting.
I've never heard of it. So
but I did what Adam suggests.
Oh, this is Nathan.
Yeah, yes.
Nathan. Okay, cool.
Hate that guy.
But he's a great code writer.
This guy is amazing. I'm telling you, Nathan is amazing.
I like this. The old way.
Look at the way his mind works. I can tell you, this guy is like a crazy wizard, with code.
Old way.
Scroll down.
That's the old way.
So he's showing manual testing and all that stuff.
So that's old way. And with Staging Pilot way, automated testing, automated updates, automated deployment. That's pretty cool. Actually, I signed up for it, and I hadn't got a chance to go in and look at it yet.
He needs to fix his font color on that box.
No, it's definitely not cheap. Because this is his life's work right here.
Does the sliders work now? Because last time it was just an image. Do the sliders work? Oh, they do now. Look at that.
Look at that. What? I'm signing up today.
$7,000. You should make it 28,000.
It doesn't go high enough.
I'm signing up today. No. All right, cool. Hopefully Nathan watches this video because he's got some promotion today. All right.
Cubs won 9-2, I think.
So I'm gonna check that out. I'll say so. The Cubs won. If anybody was going for the Cubs, 9-2.
That's what it says.
Yes, it does some very interesting things.
All right, so
well, this was very enlightening.
Let's say
does anybody have questions or want to add to this? Because we're at 8:30 right now, and we got a few minutes to go. So we got any more questions?
It's like magic.
Anything you want to add to it? Anything anybody want to show off? Show what they've been building. This is opportunity.
By the way, the Cubs have not won yet.
What's that?
It's not over.
Oh, it's not over.
No, bottom of the ninth.
Oh, bottom of the ninth.
Say no. 9-2.
9-2?
Yeah.
So you said it was really easy. Okay. Really easy to take an old blog and pull it into the new website.
Oh,
yes. That is so easy. Okay. So let's say you have an old blog and you want to put it into a website. There are 3 or 4 ways. Let me show you. The way I used to do it is...
And I'd love to hear Adam do this too because he did a really old WordPress site.
So the way I used to do it was...
Which one?
Name. Files and database. I would grab that, files and database, and then I would go into a text file. I won't write it all out because I'm a slow typer anyway. But I take the database, open it up in a text file or a code editor. This is the way I used to do it, and find and replace. And then I have now, and I go in and create a new database, add the old database, create an empty database, add that old database to the query, and then I'd add the files and connect it on localhost. That was one way. The easiest way for me now, I use desktop server, I ain't gonna lie. So I go up to the website, just like I showed you I do with my staging site, if anything changes there. And I use duplicator plugin. And I just showed you that, I didn't do the download because I don't want to use all of Justice data up right now. But like using duplicator on any of these, I'll just let's go back into.
Are you talking about moving it from one?
It's a new build. The site's new.
Where's it?
So
you just want to
they just want the blog part
Oh, then you just do an XML. You just need the content?
You can do an
Just
XML.
do an XML
Yeah,
export.
XML.
Oh,
It's your tools.
just
It's built in.
export,
Yeah.
XML export,
Yeah.
and then import the XML. into
Yeah.
the-
Yep.
That's it?
That's it.
And
That's
all
it.
you're changing is
That'll be
just-
$120.
Well, there's
$2 minimum.
$2 minimum, $240.
So you just go to the
$2.
dashboard, Lisa,
Okay.
and you know how to do the
Yes,
XML export?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so,
Oh, we thought you
and
were
that's
asking
just the
something
blog, right?
complicated.
Just the
Well, I
blog.
was kind of
I know
wondering
we were
like
kinda
why
turning
you
that into
would want
something
to
really big,
move
right?
it from one to another, and why you would. I mean, unless it's like infected with spyware or something.
Well, the example
Okay.
I thought you
Like,
were
I-
addressing
That's
was
a
what
possibility.
Mm.
I have run scans and stuff on it, but they've got so many files that are backed up that say suspected with a dot.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, this is yucky. I don't know what to do with this. It's not on any of our servers.
I was gonna say that I don't do that. I move suspected files to quarantine.
Quarantine.
Yeah.
Well, it's still there, and this is a guy I've been trying to, talk to and get him. He's building all these new sites, and
Yeah.
he's just not taking care of business. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, all of the, well, obviously, I just answered my own question because
Yeah.
the old blog post, they migrated the WordPress site. So instead of it being a subdomain, what is it called when it lands after the
Subdirectory.
subdirectory? So there's
Subdirectory.
3 subdirectory WordPress sites, and the
Okay.
blog is one of them. So I can just turn around and change the theme on that blog, and then
Yes.
just upgrade it, and all the posts are there. It's just all
Okay.
the old content. But what bothers me is all the old suspected stuff is there too. So how do I test that? Is there a special other than WordPress? I've scanned it. It's
Mhm.
not, nothing's happening. Is there other
Way to test for
Security malware test.
Yeah, so check test
Site
with
loss.
malware.
security
Okay.
malware will be helpful with
If
that.
you get SSH access to the server, you can run ClamAV, which is we run that on the server.
How do you spell it?
And one other
Clam?
thing-
CLAMAV.
Yeah.
CLAMAV.
One other thing that you can do is you can if you have SSH access as well, and you have WP CLI on your website, I'll just pull it up and show you the command.
What is SSH?
So
Secure shell.
on WP CLI, you can do a command called verify checksums, and it's under core. And verify checksums, what that does is it will verify that the actual core install of WordPress matches what's on the actual hosted. Your core install matches the actual core that
So
you
there's no
download.
extra files or.
Well, I don't think it checks extra files. I think it only checks the core
It
file.
only checks the core.
So
but if a
it's
hacker
suspected.
hacks in, usually they're placing extra files in your core. Like, I've seen some weird stuff. And verified checksums has actually helped me out a lot.
So does it actually say that there's an extra file in there, or does it just go?
It'll just say it doesn't match
Well,
the
that's
checksum, and it'll say which files has changed.
right, but that only tells you if it changes a core file. We're talking about
Added
these are
files.
added files that
Yeah.
they have.
JohnnyJoe.php.
Right,
file.
exactly. So
You mean template files inside of the thing?
not necessarily temporary files, but like
No, I mean template files.
No, they just put extra PHP
It's
files in
PHP
there.
files in there. It'll
They
be
just
like
generate-
So it's
index
okay. So
99.
it's like extra PHP files that are not a thing.
Right.
Malware.
Malware.
Yeah.
Well, then if it's just malware extra PHP files,
but
delete
she's
them.
not sure if they are because
Because she
didn't
doesn't know
develop
what
the
they
site.
are. And I've got to the point where I can spot them in a heartbeat. I know what they look like.
Well, and the problem is,
Hey, Neo.
there's
Yeah.
some of them that are encrypted with ion loader, and like people have gotten to the point where they know that
Which website?
guys like us are going to be looking at the files and trying to
Uh-huh.
see if it's malicious. There was one I dealt with for vBulletin, and the infection was called VB Firewall.
How
And
cool is that?
for somebody who didn't know vBulletin,
Right.
they would have walked right past that function and let it go.
Because it looked like a necessary file.
Right, but it was actually the malware, and it was infecting other files with that,
Yeah.
and it was injecting it into a bunch of different files.
I mean.
Hey Lisa, there's also
gotten
another
hundreds of
program
those.
Yeah.
that Greg just showed me the other day. I've never used this, but it's called diff merge. So one of the things that, let's say you're using a software like vBulletin or some other software with other PHP files, you're really not familiar with it. You can compare, like literally, you can compare like the actual install of vBulletin with what's installed on yours. Or if there's some shopping cart, OS Commerce, that you never use, you can compare OS Commerce there with OS Commerce on your install. So
Okay.
diff merge will allow you to compare 2 folders or 2 files or anything like that. All right, so, well, we have covered a lot. Any more questions? I mean, anything, comments, questions? Floor's still open. It's 8:39, and we don't end until 9 o'clock. And so we got open floor. Anybody? Well, actually, at 8:45, we're just gonna cut it to do networking, talking around, stuff
So
like that.
let me ask this dumb question. So for my WordPress sites, I use Backup Buddy and I send them to Amazon S3. And that's pretty much it. I'm not backing them in, they're not going anywhere else. Is that enough?
Nope. No. File should exist in 3 places where it doesn't exist.
Right. I send Amazon S3 for the full and the database.
Right.
I also send the database to Gmail because it's so small, typically.
That's what I do?
And I send it to Dropbox as well.
The database?
Full.
The
Dropbox. I have a terabyte. Why not? And then each one, I can show you. I mean, for all my clients, I have their own directory, the abbreviation or whatever.
Right.
Because in the Backup Buddy, you can say directory and call it, and it'll create a folder for you.
Yeah.
Instead of just having one big directory, it got kind of messy.
Yeah.
I
have mine set up basically the same, but I don't have Dropbox.
And then because you're like myself, I also have Backblaze. So all of those Backblaze. Everything goes Backblaze.
Well, Backblaze is just
Only
for
data
my
goes to
computer.
But if it's in Dropbox, it goes there too. And then I also back up on every Friday using Carbon Copy Cloner I clone my hard drive to literally.
Yeah.
I have that beat.
to this and this. So I think I'm good.
Yeah. Well, and that's.
Well, I have an external hard drive with 2 terabytes.
Yeah.
It takes a week to back that up.
But you don't have it with you, do you?
No.
That's the problem. So if your laptop crashes, you're on the road, you travel anywhere, whatever. I cloned this for Friday. So today is Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday, yeah. So if this died right now and I was doing something else, being paid to speak or do a class, I could go buy a brand new laptop, clone it, I can be back up and running from last Friday. So I would lose 4 days in theory stuff. That wasn't on the computer. If it's on Dropbox, I'm fine, right?
Right.
So, and most of my stuff these days is on Dropbox.
Is bootable clone?
It's bootable if I want to. I would just clone it over. It would take literally no time.
20 minutes.
20 minutes, exactly. Even if it took an hour, I'd have a brand new laptop, which I'd be happy with, and a working computer. Because I've had a time where my laptop has died when I trained for Apple. I was in Montreal, and that was unfortunate. My backup was in my office in Colorado. Didn't help me. So I keep it with me now.
Speaking.
I use a program for my Mac. It's Mac only, called Super Duper.
Super
Duper. Yeah, Super Duper.
Yep.
It makes an incremental bootable backup. I have it being backed up onto one hard drive in the morning. Because you can schedule it. I have it being backed up to another hard drive in the evening. There's also Time Machine, and then Backblaze. Backblaze only backs up your data. It doesn't back up
your
everything.
apps, right? Yeah.
So, it's.
So for $12 a month,
Crazy.
Dropbox, as much space as needed.
Well, that's on the business plan. I think.
Yeah.
If you just go to a normal, you can get a terabyte.
$10.
If you go to just do the terabyte plus the $38, it's $138 a year. I get a terabyte of data and I get a year's worth of undo. If I delete something from my Dropbox, typically you get 30 days on the normal. If you pay $38 extra, you get up to a year of history. Plenty.
Nice.
So yeah, this says 30 days unlimited file recovery.
That's right. So I pay the extra $38, I get a year file recovery, undo.
For my websites, which are almost all WordPress, I use Managed WP, which backs up to their servers. Then I pay an extra $2 per website per month, and it also backs up. I think I have it doing daily. It might be doing weekly.
Okay.
But it goes to my S3 account into the appropriate bucket.
How many websites do you have that you're doing?
Managed WP is awesome.
I think I had 9.
I have 160.
I love it.
Yeah,
The other
well,
thing,
you know.
Mac is also, if you have Backup Buddy, also, I use Stash for most of my clients, because it comes with my Backup Buddy plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
For my themes. And right now, I think that's
expensive.
not, if you know Corey Moore.
I had.
All right, well, I know his website.
Yeah, if you go to Combo Press with him.
All right, so if anybody had a question, that you didn't ask today, you can always ask it in the Facebook group, and we will get to that question as soon as possible. And I would actually ask for you guys to think of maybe something that, you know, we could talk about is next month's topic. And we could have several topics. It doesn't matter. We'll cover whatever we can.
You mean you're not going to do Trebek again?
Oh, so wow, we may need to do that.
So for clients,
Is
WordPress
that the one
sites,
that last year I didn't know?
S3,
from less use?
database to, you know, to my Gmail account, which I do.
Bring
And
a
I
Humble
say,
Bundle.
I have
What's that?
Go to
34
humblebundle.com.
backups
Humblebundle.com.
for each site.
How many?
34.
Okay. Seems a
A
little.
month's worth.
That's for me, I'm not here.
I've never heard that sound before. What is
Yes.
that?
Humblebundle.com.
Yeah.
What is this?
The Life Hacker bundle right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So for those of us who are on Windows, Acronis True
Yeah,
Image is an amazing full system backup,
Can't do it.
and you'll have to pay $15 for it.
I'm on Mac.
Yeah, this is for us Windows people,
Oh man, you should have told me. I would have brought it up. No, I'm just kidding.
but there's some really cool
Stack
tools.
Social has them.
Yeah,
The other one's
There you go, Windows people.
but there's also the VPN. So if you want to test your site from another location, you've got a VPN connectivity, LastPass Premium for a year.
I like LastPass.
except they got
They got
There you
hacked.
go.
I confused them with
Humblebundle.com
One password.
for a great bundle deal for all of our Windows.
6 days remaining.
Yeah.
I trust Dropbox more than I trust LastPass's servers.
That's saying something.
Although Dropbox did get hacked a while
50
back,
million accounts got compromised.
So here's the thing.
With Dropbox, right?
Also on Fridays, besides my backup, the
And
Comms
Dropbox.
Corner,
Last
I
time
also,
they didn't get any farther than just a
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't get any farther than that.
so I changed.
And everything's encrypted inside.
I'm listening.
I change 10 passwords every Friday. So I go on one password, I can see my 10 oldest accounts, the passwords that were changed old. So on every Friday I log in, I say, I'll take 10. It takes me 10 minutes, I just reset the password. That way, just keep cycling through.
That's a really good idea, especially since you can use their generator. That's
Right.
a really great
Just
idea.
reject, because I don't know them anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you do about like database passwords and all that kind of good stuff?
I just use hello 1 2 3.
Hello world.
All right, guys. We're going to let it go for, if you want to network, anybody got questions, 847. I mean, like, the meetup ended at 9, but right now, just chat amongst yourselves. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
He lives in the bee.
You should know that your presence here tonight was the reason that I decided to get them off my butt and come on out. Because I thought Adam's coming out.
Hopefully, this was very educational.